So hi, my name's Adam and I've been involved with Sahaja Yoga since August 2002, which is the first time I experienced it. And why I've created this channel is because, to summarise, in that which is now 13 years, I've experienced some good things in relation to Sahaja Yoga. And when I say Sahaja Yoga, I don't just mean the meditation technique on its own. I'm talking about everything to do with it, the movement, the people, and I've experienced some good healing, positive things, and I feel I've also had various some problems and experienced some detrimental, negative effects as well. And I've also heard things and I've read things which prove that I'm not the only one, and mainly why I wanted to. What this channel is mainly about is I think certain things in Sahaja Yoga should be sort of scrutinised and looked at critically. I mean, at the same time, I'd like to say that there is a lot of good things about that you could experience in Sahaja Yoga, and and if you're watching this and you've never experienced Sahaja Yoga before, then by all means, my view is that you should go and experience it. There's plenty you can read about, plenty of places you can go and experience it, and also I still practice certain elements related to Sahaja Yoga to this day. So I know that there is a beneficial side to it. However, there comes a point where I think I've experienced a bit of a variety of things from it, and as time goes on and passes, I just feel as if I'd like to talk about these things, partly because there's some things that I'm not satisfied about myself, and I've not had it convincingly answered for myself. And then there's the other element of that maybe something I might say might be helpful to somebody else who practices, or is involved in Sahaja Yoga. But I've got some sort of sheets around and some notes and things. So anyway, what I'd like to just one of the main things I'd like to just summarise is that. So I started Sahaja Yoga in 2002 in August. Okay, and then I'm gonna in May 2007. So nearly 5 years after I started Sahaja Yoga, I went to see a sort of like she's sort of like a self-help person. She's like a doctor, a hypnotherapist. She's sort of qualified in various psychological areas, and I went to see this person because because to cut a long story short, yeah, I was still having various issues with myself, and I was having problems related to anxiety and self-esteem, and basically these were issues that I was having before I experienced Sahaja Yoga. So, I've got a bit of I have various issues basically, and I've had these things going on for, years and years and years, but I had these issues. And when I first went to Sahaja Yoga, I'd say that at the time, the first few months after I experienced Sahaja Yoga, it was I thought it was an amazing thing, and I thought it was fantastic, and it helped me a lot when I was working, and I was sort of struggling at the work with all sorts of problems, and then I experienced Sahaja Yoga, and it gave me a big sort of lift where I was working, and all of a sudden, things started to go a lot more positive, and then the contract was extended, and I thought Sahaja Yoga was absolutely fantastic. Okay, but again, to summarise, from that August 2002 to May, I'm already forgetting the date so quick, to May 2007, for one reason or another, I sort of went I went downhill, and I was not the person in May 2007 that the same person that I was, say, in August 2002. Now, again, there's various reasons for this, but I'm just trying to, just for the purpose of not getting too purposes of time, I had a lot of my old problems and symptoms of anxiety and just general negativity and low self-esteem. They all seem to have come back quite stronger. And funny enough, at this point, before going to this person, I was quite very heavily involved with Sahaja Yoga. So I'm still doing, I was still sort of taking part, quite involved with Sahaja Yoga, and that includes I was going to these pujas, and I was helping out with certain programs. I was even quite active with some of the programs, trying to contribute to hosting whatever some of the programs. But anyway, things sort of went quite I just got into quite a state whereby I felt like I've followed all these things that had been sort of recommended to me by various people in Sahaja Yoga, and I'm in this sort of, I've sort of surrendered myself and taken aboard all these sort of beliefs and blah blah blah, all the stuff which you may believe in and be practicing right now as you're watching this, but anyway, I found myself sort of not satisfied and not happy, and having a lot of self-confidence issues and problems, and sometimes feeling pretty disturbed at times as well. So anyway, I went to, so there's a number of things I want to sort of look at here, a number of points. I just wanted to just give you a bit of a background about the person that I saw, because first of all, the person that I saw, she is a chartered psychologist. She holds a practicing certificate and is registered as a chartered psychologist with the British Psychological Society. She's a full member of the International Scientific and Medical Network, a fellow of the Royal Society for the Promotion of Health, and a member of the British Society of Experimental and Clinical Hypnosis. Registered with the NHS and BUPA as an independent provider. As I've just said, she's a qualified and registered hypnotherapist and regression therapist. She obtained her diplomas in hypnotherapy and regression therapy with distinction. She's got diverse experience and training, which also includes counselling, psychotherapy, neuro-holistic programming training, some training in Reiki healing as well. So, I know that's already a no-no for you guys. And she's sort of regularly updating her skills, knowledge. She's noted for her professional expertise, dedication, ingenuity and integrity. She's got 20 years, that's at the time when this was written, and remember now it's now 8 years. Yeah, it's now 8 years since, I can't believe how quick it is, since I saw her. So obviously she's got a lot more experience. She's got 20 years of experience in psychology, and she holds a Bachelor of Science, BSc, degree in psychology, a Master of Science, that's MSc, degree in neurophysiology. She's got a background in abnormal psychology and in neuropsychology. For a number of years she conducted scientific research at the University of London on patients with clinical depression and on neurological patients with frontal lobe damage. And she has a doctorate as well as PhD in psychology from St George's Hospital Medical School, University of London, for research on the neuropsychology of the frontal lobes, which is the brain centres responsible for cognitive control. So that's the brain centres, frontal lobes. So I believe in Sahaja Yoga information, and that's going to be the ego area, the top of the coming to the top of the right side. And she's saying, the malfunction of the frontal lobes is known to result in cognitive, emotional and mental health problems. Okay, during the period of her doctoral research, she was the sole holder of 6 research grants awarded for her doctoral research and for additional related research projects on higher cognitive functions of the brain. Let me just she is skilled in psychological test design and research methods, and has developed a battery of neuropsychological tests to measure specific cognitive control processes in the human brain. She has made a number of original contributions at national and international scientific conferences. She was a university and college lecturer in psychology and supervised final year undergraduate psychology students assisting in her research. Why, you must say, why are you saying all of this? Basically, I'm saying all of this because, this is not a Mickey Mouse person in relation to you know, mental health issues and psychology. You can see that she's practically got a whole dedicated a large part of her life to studying this, and she's continually even to, you know, she works with people with all sorts of problems in a very in-depth way all the time. And as you can see, she's got all sorts of high academic qualifications. But yeah, of course, you know, to some people in Sahaja Yoga, you know, if you don't, you know, if you're not a realised soul, or you haven't got a bit of some cool breeze coming out of your hands, then, you know, or, you know, if this woman is not part of the Sahaja Yoga movement, then, you know, then basically what some people in Sahaja Yoga would do, they would sort of, you know, she would be dismissed. It's like, you know, all this experience, all this, it's like, you know, so what? It doesn't matter. You know, if you're not part of Sahaja Yoga, then, you know, you can just sort of be swept under the carpet. But as you can see, you know, to me, this is someone that, you know, their opinion should be considered and taken seriously. So, but anyway, why, you know, why I'm like I said, why I'm saying all of this is because I've got some unanswered. There's a few things that are still bugging me, and they're things that are not really sort of proven. I've not really been given any evidence about these things, and when I saw this therapist, basically, you know, I had various, I sort of found out a lot of things which, and I did get a certain amount of help and information, but I found out a lot of things which I didn't really know or understand about, in the same way as before I went to Sahaja Yoga. And this is an important point. Before I went to Sahaja Yoga, I didn't have a clue. That was the first time I had anything to do with meditation or energy or any of this sort of thing. So I went there totally naive to this sort of thing, because I was not really, you know, if you want to use the word, seeking, if you will, not into different types of meditations and all that sort of thing. I was involved with other things. But when I went there, so the things that I experienced on my first month of Sahaja Yoga, obviously I was very impressed by it, with these the energy sensations and all the you know, the effects associated with Sahaja Yoga practice. You know, to me this was quite a big thing. You know, that was in the first couple of weeks and months, whatever. But anyway, there's a few things that I'd like to sort of share with you. You know, and you can make of it what you will. Now, one thing I would like to also say is that before I went to see this therapist, I was sort of involved with Sahaja Yoga to such a degree that when I mentioned to certain people that I'm considering seeing this therapist, who I described as a hypnotherapist, although that's just one part of her qualifications and what she does, but she's also a qualified hypnotherapist. When I spoke to people about this, basically they were really trying to put me off going to see this person. So, you know, and it wasn't just one, you know, there was a couple of people that were basically warning me about going to see anyone that claims to be a hypnotherapist. So basically, you know, I got the opinion in amongst the sort of collectivity in Sahaja Yoga that basically, you know, hypnotherapists are sort of like, you know, almost really sort of dodgy people, really bad people, and they're going to do you a lot of harm, you know, and that this thing about, you know, hypnotherapy and trance, you know, this state trance, yeah, that is a really dodgy experience, and you know, you must, you know, please don't go there, basically. So basically they were really trying to sort of frighten me off seeing a hypnotherapist, and at the time, you know, that was really sort of bugging me, and because I was already having various problems anyway, which in my opinion at the time, the Sahaja Yoga techniques and what was being offered in Sahaja Yoga, yeah, I was not satisfied with. They were not really helping me and my conditions, and so I wanted to try, you know, have a go trying something else. And I should also add at this point that when I went, I only considered this therapist, yeah, because I had another. There was a good friend of mine who had seen this person prior to me, so I had a bit of sort of like a very good, reliable reference, if you like, that, and he apparently, seemingly had very good results from this person, and basically I was left sort of, on the one hand, I've got my friend saying this is there's nothing, you know, what you're hearing in Sahaja Yoga is just all sort of scaremongering. And it's, you know, they're talking rubbish, everything's great, it's fantastic, blah blah blah. So I've got all that on the one hand. On the other hand, I've got these people in Sahaja Yoga trying to scare me, you know, oh my god, you mustn't go near any hypnotherapist, it's a really dodgy thing. And strangely enough, when I tried to find any videos of talks of Shamaji talking about hypnotherapy, saying you mustn't go to hypnotherapists, I don't think there really is anything at all. I think there's one talk very briefly where she just warns against not hypnotherapy as a therapy, but just as, you know, the person that might claim to call themselves a hypnotherapist. I mean, they might be a bit sort of dodgy, whatever. So I think there's some sort of talk about that, but generally she doesn't really talk about too much about, you know, hypnosis and trance and things like that. I didn't really find much about it, but anyway, sort of scaring me about it. So anyway, never mind, yeah, I went anyway, and there's some things I just wanted to sort of share with you. Okay, so first of all, I was told by a lot of people in Sahaja Yoga, I was given the impression that in hypnotherapy, when you do hypnotherapy, you know, they talk about a state of trance, and that the state of trance is something totally alien to Sahaja Yoga. It's nothing to do with Sahaja Yoga meditation whatsoever. You know, Sahaja Yoga meditation takes you into another sort of area, you know, this thoughtless awareness. And you know, it's not a trance. It's nothing like a trance at all. A trance is sort of like, it's a dodgy area. It's a dodgy experience. You know, you shouldn't have anything to do with trance. And this is mainly because some people in Sahaja Yoga believe that, you know, when you're if you do hypnotherapy and you go into a trance, then basically you're more likely to experience you know, cases of various, you know, possession, basically. So possession of various entities, demons, whatever you want to call it, is more likely if you start experiencing trance and experiencing hypnosis or going to hypnotherapy. So I think that's what this is what a lot of people in Sahaja Yoga, this is what they believe, and this is what they were making me feel very concerned about. Anyway, so you know, I mentioned some of these things to this therapist, and just briefly on an important thing, they worry about possession if you go to hypnotherapists and trance, but then again, you've got to remember that in Sahaja Yoga, even for yogis that have been involved in Sahaja Yoga for many years, there's still talks of Sri talking about yogis that are possessed and still have various possessions going on and things, even though they are right in the middle of the Sahaja Yoga movement. So even by going to all these pujas and being really active in Sahaja Yoga, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get rid of your possessions, or that you can not get possession. So even in Sahaja Yoga, there's still a possibility of getting possession. I mean, some people will probably think that I'm possessed for making a talk like this as well. But okay, so first of all, this therapist, she explained to me that basically trance. Okay, so I went to see this therapist with the mindset that I'm going to be entering into a totally different state, you know, which is sort of far removed from anything in Sahaja Yoga. But I learned, that trance, if you look up trance or what it actually means, basically, it's basically just a relaxed state of mind, and when you meditate, okay, and what she's basically saying is that anybody experiences hypnosis or a light form of trance at least twice a day anyway, and that's when you wake up and upon falling asleep, and that hypnosis and trance is sort of like a sleep-like state, a relaxed state of mind. And she was sort of saying to me that there's definitely an overlap between a meditation and hypnosis. So they're different names, but there's you can either, when you're sitting up meditating or you're lying on a bed relaxing, there is overlap between the two. And she's saying that meditation is nothing more than a light hypnotic trance. So first of all, this was all sort of a bit of a revelation to me, and you've got to remember, before I went to see this therapist, I had 5 years of just doing Sahaja Yoga. I didn't really know anything else except the Sahaja Yoga experiences. But now that I've experienced both, I've experienced the meditation, of which I still do, and I've experienced the sort of the hypnotherapy type techniques, especially when you're lying down, and I think that there is a lot of similarity between the two. Obviously, they're a bit different in their aims and sort of goals. They're different sort of techniques, but to say that you in Sahaja Yoga, when you meditate, there is no trance whatsoever, I think, in my experience now, having done the two, I think that's sort of like a bit of a lie pushed around in Sahaja Yoga. I think that there is, in Sahaja Yoga, I mean, many times you be in Sahaja Yoga, you can see people nodding off to sleep. Remember, a trance is a sleep-like state, so there is a crossover between the two. So I think that's a bit of a myth that is somehow being pushed around in Sahaja Yoga. I mean, I wonder why that is. Could that be because obviously hypnotherapy is generally demonised, pardon the pun, in Sahaja Yoga, and people in Sahaja Yoga want people to come to Sahaja Yoga. They don't want people to go elsewhere to have therapy anywhere else. So obviously, you know, if a hypnotherapist starts talking about, you know, states of mind like trance or things like that, then obviously that gets like a bad press within Sahaja Yoga. So anyway, so I generally think that they're quite similar states. And the other thing is this, you know, I thought that in Sahaja Yoga, you know, thoughtless awareness was just unique to Sahaja Yoga, generally speaking. But even in the work hypnotherapists do, and hypnosis, I found that that's also what the goal is also thoughtless awareness. So when you do therapy, if you go to a hypnotherapist, it's one of the first things they're trying to teach you as well, is to try to sort of, you know, clear your mind, and be thoughtless. And also I experienced in hypnosis and hypnotherapy, when you practice that as well, it's like you also sort of aware at all times when you're doing your therapy, similar to Sahaja Yoga. You know, you're meditating, the aim is you're still aware of what's going on. And I've never really been not aware of what's going on. Anytime I've done any sort of hypnosis or hypnotherapy, it's the same thing. You're still aware as well. I mean, of course, unless you fall asleep, that's different. But I believed that Sahaja Yoga would take you into a state which is away from a trance, and this therapist was explaining to me that's not that actually it doesn't take you away from a trance, but it actually elicits one. So it actually it is a form of trance. So Sahaja Yoga meditation is also a form of trance. It might not be a deep trance, it might be quite a light one, but again, a trance, what is it? It's sort of a relaxed state of mind. I mean, when you're meditating, aren't you in a relaxed state of mind? And obviously, like with hypnosis, when you're actually practicing the technique, you know, you find yourself going deeper and deeper. And as you know, some people do Sahaja Yoga for a certain amount of time, they might start falling asleep because they went deeper and deeper and deeper. Or, you know, it depends how you want to see it. You know, you can have a really sort of deep meditation. So all these things, really, at the end of the day, aren't they just, they're all sort of altered states of consciousness, aren't they? So that, again, that's the similarity between meditation and hypnosis.